Community Photo Voice Health Video by Jenna Bartsch. Throughout this video, I will be identifying 5 things in the community of Edwardsville, Illinois, and factors that make it difficult to live a healthy lifestyle currently. The first factor I will be addressing is lack of social services within the community of Edwardsville, Illinois. And the first picture that I have is a park that has been shut down for a couple years now due to a sinkhole. This park is located off of Hadley Drive in Edwardsville, Illinois. People within this community have been known to come here when they are currently in a situation of lack of housing to stay for a night or two due to the lack of population around it where people are visiting. Another location is off of Rottingham Court in Edwardsville, Illinois. This area is more private because of the trees that cover it. This area is also a spot for people who are experiencing homelessness and trying to gain services. This type of service and change that I'm trying to make impacts the traditional community of Edwardsville, trying to take the structures that are already owned by the community, such as buildings and parks, and adding a social service to help the people of this community gain the resources they need without having to travel to a different town. The lack of social service is a health issue for the town of Edwardsville because it is not safe for both the individual who is experiencing current homelessness and the community to not have the right social service help that is available to them without having to transport them. The current situation leads to the fellow community members left without help unless they can find transportation to a town that offers a larger amount of support within social service. Data shows that there are services for people experiencing homelessness in the surrounding areas of Edwardsville, such as Alton, East St. Louis, Granite City, and St. Louis. As those areas are close, some people don't have the means to transport themselves to even have the opportunity to achieve those services if they reside in Edwardsville, Illinois. This information was gathered off of the homelessshelterdictionary.org. Edwardsville, Illinois is known for having a more wealthier community, so that would mean why there might be some lack of services, because the community might not necessarily see that they need it, but that doesn't mean everyone in this area is in the same financial situation, and life can hit anyone at any time. A community needs to be able to have these resources in their town to help them. While also looking into this information, there's currently a homeless prevention / rapid rehoming program offered for Madison County. This program got started in January of 2019. Considering Edwardsville is within Madison County, I would like to make the connection between Madison County's project and the Edwardsville Township organization for my tactics to create a social service program for social service work in Edwardsville community. Edwardsville Township Code 60 of ILCS 1-85-13 states that general services that the township committees are allowed to spend money on are things such as public service, environmental programs, public transportation, health services such as social services, which is exactly the type of service that we're trying to add within Edwardsville. They also provide manufacturing within the township, cemeteries, comfort stations, community buildings, hospital, monuments, open spaces, parks, faculties, etc. The township government has been a part of Illinois for more than 160 years and provides valuable services and programs to the community. By connecting the ties to advocate for change by joining the volunteers of Madison County Project Homeless and the Edwardsville Township Committee to create more of a program instead of a project to maintain a more permanent social service in the Edwardsville community. With having the Madison County Homeless Project already in the works and the fact that they have been to court to try to get funding, this will help open the doors for a more permanent program to be sponsored for Edwardsville. By gaining volunteers, it shows in numbers how pressing the issue is for the community. We could team up and use the image chart and gain data by going to homeless shelters and other services offered around the area to see who had to travel there from Edwardsville to get the services they require. The benefit of engaging the community into this program is showing the need for social work resources in this town and gaining support. A limitation that will possibly happen will be not get correct funding to make a more permanent change. This movement works to increase accessibility to services by having more locations offered to help people within the community so they don't have to use long distance transportation, or they won't be put on a long waiting list from another agency in a different town. This all meaning that more people will have access to services because there will be more services offered. By adding more social services to the town of Edwardsville, it's actually providing these clients with more dignity and worth because they aren't left wondering what to do when they are in need of certain services. This movement is providing equal access to services for all that are eligible by giving them a remote spot to go and actually access the services within their own town that they are needing. The next health issue for the town of Edwardsville is lack of school services, basically referring to needing a second high school. This is the image of the front of Edwardsville High School. It is located off of Center Grove Road in Edwardsville, Illinois. Their current enrollment number is 2,366 students. Edwardsville High School is the only public high school within District 7. The district is broken down into 6 elementary schools, which are grades K through 2nd, 4 schools that offer grades 3 through 5, 2 schools that offer grades 6 through 8, and then just the one high school for grades 9 through 12. Don't get me wrong, District 7 is an amazing school system. It is ranked in the top 20% of all schools in Illinois based off a combined reading and writing test, as stated from Public School Review of Madison County online. On the same review, it was also stated that the student-to-teacher ratio is 18-1, but in 5 years it has gone up to 20-1. Providing how fast Edwardsville is growing, meaning the high school is growing as well, a plan for a second public high school should be put into play for the health and safety benefits of the students. This would be following a traditional community format because public school is a public structure of the community, but also non-traditional because all the students and faculty and parents, they are all their own groups that make up the people that attend the school on a day-to-day basis. So they have a little bit more connection to it. So they are ultimately the ones being affected by this change. This is a health concern for the town of Edwardsville because the ratio of student to teacher keeps increasing, the resources to keep the same grade, statistics, as to what type of education is offered will decrease. This is also a health issue that there are only so many social workers allowed within a public school budget. If the student population continues to grow, social workers won't be able to reach each student in a timely manner. This is how students are overlooked for services that they may actually need and cause more issues down the line. Another way this is a health issue is that the high school can really be hard no matter who you are. It's high school. I grew up in a town that offered 3 public high schools total within the district. So if they're under certain circumstances, with evidence and whatnot, certain kids were allowed with permission to move to another public high school within the district if there was like a situation such as bullying that was just getting out of hand. So it really helped certain students' mental health by just being able to remove themselves from an everyday situation that's a struggle for them and just kind of eliminating that situation. But with only having the one public high school within Edwardsville here, the students don't have that option unless mom and dad can pay for private, and not everyone has that option. Another health issue is, since there's only one public school offered, all the surrounding areas, such as the country, the urban, and all those surrounding towns that are smaller than Edwardsville, those children are bused every morning to school. So the students out in the rural areas that have to wake up at 5 to be ready for a bus that comes at 6 to get to school at 7 is a little extreme, considering the age of high school kids that are attending are ages 15 to 18, and that's the time of a lot of physical, emotional, mental growth that requires the body to need more sleep. So if you're having to cut out more sleep just to wake up to make it to school, that's going to end up weighing on you harder than some of the other kids that don't have to wake up so early to make a bus to get to a school that's so far away. A reasonable goal to fix some of these unhealthy problems for the town of Edwardsville, Illinois, would be to build and provide a second high school for the community. To advocate for a second high school to be built in the town of Edwardsville, Illinois, I would try to build a dream team committee of connections to work together and build a change. I would start by going to the state of Illinois to get the school board a part of my committee, hoping to either get the superintendent or a delegate involved to represent the state of Illinois. I would like to have a couple parents from the community to voice their opinions on the positivity for a second high school to be built. Along with a parent, I would preferably love to have a VP or president of the teacher union to represent the teachers of Edwardsville. They play a huge part in this, considering those are the jobs we're trying to fill. Those are the people that are in the day-to-day with the children, with the resources, knowing what they need and don't need. I also think it is really important to have a student president or someone from the student committee to represent for the students of this community, because that's ultimately who it will be affecting and who it's for. Getting a legislator from the state of Illinois would be ideal in helping with the networking with the state to gain funding, along with the education department. That will play another huge role. By creating this committee, it shows the need and support by the community to provide a second high school. The benefits of this would be throughout multiple contacts and connections through the people in the committees could really bring a solid outcome and support for a permanent change. A limitation may not being able to get certain higher positions involved if they don't see the need personally for a second high school. Sadly, officials don't always understand the certain needs and wants of day-to-day education. The movement to build a second high school for the town of Edwardsville, Illinois, increases services because if the ratio of the students per faculty member is lowered, social service workers will be able to see and help more students on a more intimate and interactive level than what they are currently used to right now. And the students and faculty members will actually be able to get the help that they need and deserve. By providing a second high school that promotes service delivery that doesn't distract from the dignity and worth of the clients, because the students are given more room to breathe and to learn and to get services, showing that they are not just cattle being moved through the system, but that each person is cared about and deserves the right to education, safety, and services when they need it. This is providing equal access to service to all who are eligible for services, because by providing the second school, it's giving more people the time to receive the services that they need, so less are turned away due to too much on their caseload, which is so common in, I'm sure, every social service setting. The next health issue for Edwardsville, Illinois is the lack of sidewalks within the neighborhoods. This is a photo of a neighborhood in Edwardsville, Illinois, in the more older part. The more older parts have the lack of sidewalk, as you see, and this would be more in the area of LeClaire in Edwardsville. Having lack of sidewalks are giving lack of travel safety for kids to walk to and from school or to and from play. I feel this is a traditional and non-traditional type of community that are being impacted by this. Traditional because it is city and resident sidewalk, it's like a physical structure, but also non-traditional because the communities that are really only impacted by this are the groups of people who live in the neighborhoods who identify as not having a sidewalk, also known as the older part of Edwardsville. A study conducted in 2017 showed that 5,977 pedestrians were killed. 5,890 were due to traffic accidents. Breaking it down, a pedestrian was killed every 88 minutes due to a traffic crash. That is more than 16 people a day at 115 people a week. So my goal for the community is to gain a more healthier and safer option would be to build more sidewalks within the older community. To start this change for the community, I would use my personal resources from a social service job I had where I was connected with a family who had dealt with their child, a 15-year-old boy, get hit by a car on his way home from school. This 15-year-old boy was airlifted to another hospital where he had years of physical therapy, and they really were unsure if he was going to make it. Luckily, he did. A year later, he was able to finally reattend school after the accident. This heart-wrenching story did not happen in Edwardsville, but it happened in the neighboring community of Wood River. So after a year of recovery, the son was able to walk and go back to school. And after connecting with the family and hearing their touching story, I would enlist their help of the mother and the son to share their story as they see fit with the Edwardsville community to show the importance of having a safe travel zone, such as a sidewalk. I would go this route to show how close to home a mother's worst nightmare can come true, as her son was simply walking home from school one day, and the next minute she was in a helicopter being airlifted, not knowing if her son was going to make it, and like no mom wants to hear that. So having this safe area is just maybe one less, worry trigger for some people. This is providing the needs for safety measures for children walking to and from school, as they all should have. In addition to that, I would also like to throw a sidewalk chalk fundraiser for the community. Having families come out and create their own square representing them in the community to show not only the benefits of safety that we would previously have talked about, but also the fun activities that come along with adding a sidewalk feature to your neighborhood. A surprising limitation I came across as I did research was that having a sidewalk actually lowers the value of your home and your residence, which I didn't know. This is because that area is taking up grass area that adds to your property. But current updated research shows that realtors say that more people than not are requesting homes with sidewalks already in their neighborhoods. So that means this is something that the people in this community are wanting already. Once the non-traditional community of the neighborhoods who don't have sidewalks agree that this is a need that they want to rectify, the process then can continue. I would take what fundraising we came up with and letters stating why the people in this community want to continue the motion to create new sidewalks in their community to the Director of Public Works, who is Eric Williams. Public Works oversees fieldwork, maintenance. This would be who takes care of the streets and sidewalks in the community of Edwardsville. Hoping that Eric Williams joins the team of people that are trying to create this change to bring sidewalks to this community. With having him on board, that could gain more resources and more doors to open to continue the motion. This movement of works to increase accessibility to services because it's giving the people of this community a safe space to transport themselves from place to place and not having to walk in the street if they don't have access to transportation. This movement is giving the community and the neighborhoods that don't have sidewalks an equal playing field that shows they are worthy of the same amount as everyone else in the community that already have a sidewalk in their neighborhood for their children to use. This is giving giving equal access to everyone in the community to have a safe place for their child to go to and from school and wherever else they may travel to. The next health issue I found in Edwardsville, Illinois is the lack of healthy food and local options for dining. This picture is shown off of Troy Road in Edwardsville, Illinois. It is supposed to show McDonald's, Taco Bell, Captain D's, and Arby's. And actually on the other side, down the street a little bit, is Jack in the Box, Dairy Queen, etc. It is not the best picture representing that, but I definitely wanted to get an actual one of me in the community. But it was hard to do so while actually being a driver as well. So on the next slide, I have an overview of seeing the layout of the restaurants throughout the town for a better visual. These images are to show how the fast food options in this town are mainly fast food, unhealthy options, or chain options, meaning the money is not staying locally as we spend it. Communities impacted by this are traditional because there are stores and restaurants and physical structures that the community is spending money on and shopping at. This is a health issue because if we're filling our bodies with less nutrient options, then our health as a community will decline. Along with the health issue of not keeping money locally, meaning lack of support for local businesses and restaurants to maintain and stay open, and being able to compete with the change, it puts a strain on the positive financial part of Edwardsville as a community. After reviewing the website of Edwardsville Glen Carbon Chamber of Commerce dining page, I was able to grab some insight on the ratio of fast food chains to locally owned nutritious options. For every one locally owned option, there are 8 fast food or chains options within Edwardsville, Illinois. My goal to see a change for this health issue is for the town of Edwardsville to create and promote a healthy monthly or bi-weekly farmers market. Even though this health issue is impacting the more traditional sense of the community, by creating a non-traditional community of all the locally owned businesses and suppliers of nutrition to come together as their own community and offer them the option to kind of throw a block party to get some education and facts out there for Edwardsville. By everyone coming together, it's showing a support for healthy options in locally owned restaurants. This is giving the community education, new experiences, and even ways of making a connection with one another. By bringing awareness monthly or even bi-weekly, depending on the popularity of it, it will help information be gained by the community to continue to do this on their own. If there's later on not backing or not funding supported by this, the community itself can continue to do this. The benefits of this will bring families closer together and giving them more activities to do while promoting local businesses. Promoting healthier dining options will bring a better sense of community and pride to Edwardsville. Some limitations may be not everyone's interested and the project can't get a good enough following before it even starts. How I would go about and by creating this would be trying to partner up with all the locally owned and healthy option restaurants in the area and have them form some type of agreement that they will provide a short menu of what they will be offering at these block parties or gatherings. Having even a family-friendly activity done by each locally owned restaurant for families to engage in at this block party might be great as well. Offering a take and bake at home, showing families how they can come together in the kitchen. I feel that there wouldn't be much pushback from the locally owned businesses just because in a sense it's almost free advertising for them if they're willing to put in their side of the work. Once I have the backing of the community wanting this project to continue, I can rent out a space or publicly owned area to host these events. Or even maybe one of the local restaurants could volunteer their spot each month or bi-weekly or however they decide. Because again, I'm trying to create a non-traditional community within the community. This movement works to increase accessibility of services because it's expanding opportunities for the community to really learn what it has to offer for them on a day-to-day basis, but that they might not normally have experienced or gone outside their comfort zone and gone to that new restaurant or that new farmer's market or anything like that. These events would be free, so it's really showing the community members that, you know, it's for everybody. No one feels left out. It's equal opportunity for everyone to be educated about food and about local businesses and about health. This is promoting equal access to services by giving everyone the chance to promote and try locally owned food and possibly even sponsor up with somebody. This would be a great event for like a local children's club needing a sponsorship, and then they'll get with a local pizza guy to sponsor their games and have, you know, so it's definitely even a connecting way for the community. The last issue I will be talking about for health issues that I found in Edwardsville, Illinois, is lack of maintenance resources. In this first image, you will see LeClaire Lake. This is part of Edwardsville, Illinois. This park is a part of the historical district of Edwardsville. Due to COVID-19, a lot of people have been coming and eating at the parks for lunch and dinner as families. As you can see, the garbage is overflowing. More people are coming there to eat, using it, and with Edwardsville being in Illinois, we know how the wind is, and one gust, half of that garbage is like all over the pond and the trees and the grass. Having trash throughout the parks and community is a health issue for both wildlife and people in the community. I'm going to go ahead and point out that there's like a Red Bull can down here in the bottom corner. I know there are a couple trash bags. I try to get the best photo I could of it. But as you can see, garbage is flying all throughout the park. It's spreading germs and affecting the air quality. And honestly, it doesn't even look that good. You know, we have this beautiful area and now it's covered in trash. It doesn't make anyone feel good about it. If the animals or children were to ingest any of it, they could be harmed. I would say this is affecting both traditional and non-traditional communities because the traditional park is funded by the state and it is land of the community. But it's also non-traditional because the people of LeClaire, who identify as people of Edwardsville, but also people of LeClaire as their own little community, take this issue maybe a little more seriously than someone who doesn't live in that community because they don't have that tie. Since the park is a part of Edwardsville of LeClaire, it is historical, meaning that there is a committee that oversees it, and that is called Friends of LeClaire, and they are dedicated to researching, publishing, and demonstrating the artifactual, historical, and cultural information of the LeClaire neighborhoods of Edwardsville. They try to encourage the preservation of LeClaire neighborhoods along with this history and tradition. The committee tries to achieve public awareness and support throughout educational programs, documentation of LeClaire social heritage, encouraging LeClaire park improvements and advocacy. Basically, what this committee does is tries to use all the resources within this community to make sure that this area is to standards of what the community expects it to be. So, I contacted them to see what the schedule was for trash pickup each week for this certain park. As of now, trash is picked up once a week by the City of Edwardsville Public Works. My goal to improve the health of this community would be to start a project to have the trash be picked up twice a week rather than the one time, considering the overuse of garbage cans due to COVID-19. I would ask for the help of the Friends of the LeClaire Committee group, since they have the majority say in what happens within this park. The best part about this project is I feel that there are options to best fit the community as they see fit. I feel the backing of the LeClaire Committee would be from a volunteer schedule for people in the community to donate time and resources to pick up the trash and dispose of it. We could send community flyers around saying, at this time, due to COVID circumstances, we ask you please take all garbage with you so it doesn't overflow and into the parks. Having the backing of the committee would go far, in their opinion, with having the power to show this is a legitimate and it actually is a concern. Another way would be to connect with the Edwardsville Public Works to see what could be moved around to fund a worker to come and pick up the trash twice a week rather than the one time. The benefits to having multiple options really leave it up to the community to see how they feel is best to solve this issue. The limitation is due to COVID-19 because now all these new circumstances are becoming the norm. People are less scared and the decrease of concern is going down. That could be bad, meaning the problem of the overpolluting in the garbage might be pushed aside as an issue and not really taken seriously. Having this project increases the accessibility to services because it is asking the community to come together and provide an outcome. This is a public park, so it is for all people throughout the whole community that doesn't even reside in the actual part of LeClaire. It shows that all parts of our community are worthwhile and have value, and we need to treat it as such. By going through this process for this park, it opens the door to have other parks of the community promote equal needs and resources that have the same level of care within the whole community. And then these are my resources that I use to provide facts throughout this video.